Hi everyone, this is a short video to explain the individual externship. This is a course that essentially students sometimes create their own externship or their opportunities that aren't necessarily classified under pre-existing externships. Many times we encourage students to pursue an opportunity and see if we can structure it as a 4-credit experience, provided that it meets ABA standards and compliance issues. And there's a host of other things that we have to do to make sure that a student can pursue an opportunity or an experience for credit. The general information that you should know about the course is that essentially it allows you to obtain credit provided that everything is structured correctly, and we usually need about a semester in advance for that to make sure that we can talk to the field placement supervisor to make sure that there's an MOU in place. We don't place at for-profit placements. It's usually government, nonprofit, or judicial placements, but many times students will want to go back to another state over the summer, and sometimes this offers a great opportunity for them to pursue it. Some of our routine placements are at the ACLU in Tampa, the Conviction Review Unit at the 13th Circuit, the Department of Children and Family Services down in Bradenton, and the Federal Public Defender's Office. So many times students will pursue this for either 3 or 4 credits. Sometimes you can pursue it for less credits, but never more. Just to tell you a little bit about this, I am the Professor Cerniglia, that oversees the individual externship. The students are enrolled in a course, and that course is a course that I teach where we bring all of the externs together, including some other externs from other placements or other courses, and we break down different skills that are needed before you get out and practice. There's a lot of literature that basically suggests within the first 3 years of practice, you are struggling to learn as much as you possibly can, skills and knowledge. And so what we're trying to do in the externship course is close that gap. And so we bring in practical skills from legal drafting, legal research. We talk about other skills like life balance because that's so difficult. But again, the course offers an opportunity for you to hear and collaborate and learn from others. It's probably one of my favorite courses to teach. The prerequisites is you just have to make sure that you've completed all of your first year courses. Many times we like to make sure that you've completed PR. You have to be in good academic standing, and then you have to come see me and apply for the externship, the individual externship. What does the day in the life look like for an individual extern? Well, it depends. If you're on your own pathway, and I put a picture here of a pathway, it depends on what that placement is like. But what we'll normally do is we structure learning goals at the beginning of the semester. You'll meet with me, and then of course you're periodically or weekly meeting with your field placement supervisor. I want to tell you a little bit about each of these 3 experiences. The Conviction Review Unit is placed in the prosecutor's office. A very, very progressive prosecutor in the 13th Circuit is reviewing old convictions and seeing if they need to be overturned, much like the Innocence Project, but this is the prosecutor saying, look, these convictions were based on bad science, or it needs to be reviewed. And so our students are in there working on those cases and reviewing those files. It's an exciting opportunity to learn about a prosecutor's office, as well as to see a progressive prosecutor really kind of taking hold and reviewing old cases. The ACLU is an amazing opportunity as well. The ACLU in Tampa, many times they are working on cases that we don't even know about until they hit the paper, because it's usually cutting edge cases. It could be on any kind of issues that related to civil liberties. So a lot of constitutional issues, a lot of factual research happens here. So you will be working alongside the attorneys, sometimes in community. So you'll go into community meetings and meet with people who might need education on their rights. And then you're basically trying to build their case. The ACLU is very strategic about what type of cases they take. And then they like to build their cases equally strategically, and they litigate. So you will have an opportunity to experience that as well. The Federal Public Defender's Office, I can't say enough great things about them. This experience, you obviously are at the federal level and you're on the defense side working on criminal cases. There is great synergy in that office. You do have to apply outside of our program directly to them and then secure the position that way. I always like to see students who are interested in criminal law to actually have some experience at the federal level so that they can see what criminal practice is like at the federal level. Really interesting dynamic here. You'll do a lot of research, a lot of writing, and a lot of thinking. And so both your research skills and your thinking skills will advance. What you do need to know is that all of your knowledge, skills, and abilities will advance, mostly from legal research and writing, but all kinds of areas depending upon the placement. And then if you don't believe me, I always say it's really best to listen to other students who have done it before. So here's a quote from a student. It's a rather long quote, but I'm going to read it to you. What I continue to learn about my clients is that their housing issue is not the only issue they are facing. In fact, the housing issue is a manifestation of the result of many internal emotional issues that have developed through traumatic experiences. I have to continuously remind myself of this fact because sometimes I cannot understand why clients cannot seem to grasp the reality that it becomes frustrating on my end. Once I am reminded, I become more patient. As one of my clients so bluntly explained, you don't understand. The truth is, I don't. Accepting this is easier to advocate more effectively for my clients because I spend less time trying to put myself in their shoes and more time trying to change their shoes. I felt like this was such an important quote to share with you because many times we are reading books in law school and we're not interacting with people. And so although we may understand how the law operates, we don't understand the personal nature of how people are impacted by the law. And so externships create a very valuable experience of really adding that human element and the emotional aspect of how the law interacts with people. Here's another quote. From another student. I've said this once and I'll say it again. The experience of these courses, clinics, and externships go beyond being hands-on. They help develop your professional skills while also helping you identify your strengths and weaknesses in the workplace. I can't say this better than this student, but essentially that's exactly what we're working on. We're trying to figure out where your kind of gaps are and then trying to close those gaps. So if you're interested, the next steps are essentially to come either talk to Professor Cerniglia or Ryan Hoyle, and then make sure that you apply, and you want to apply by the deadline. You would fill out the application on the individual externship application, and then you would write a cover letter to the entity that you are basically or have applied to or going to apply to explain. I'm the one who usually reads the cover letter, but we sometimes send the cover letter to whoever you're directly applying to. With that said, good luck, everybody, and we hope to see your application.